Hey, this is Fred Ottman, Tugboat Typhoon, the Shockmaster, the B-A-double-D, Big Steel Man. And the card is subject to change. Watch it.
Welcome back to the show!
Welcome back to the show!
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and never wrong, Nick Gold.
Well, bonjour and welcome to everyone to another exciting episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, I am your host, Jamais Tort Nick Bull, or Je m'appelle Jamais Tort Nick Bull. So glad to see you and happy you have found us here in our little corner of the universe. I'd be remiss if I did not mention our sponsors. We are powered by Low Pies Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. A very happy Labor Day weekend to one and all as we record here live on an afternoon of Labor Day. We work so you guys can enjoy. No, this is purely joy for us, and we're glad you're here. I'm going to bring in my tag team partner here. We are the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions. It's a mouthful, but we're an eyeful. So I'd be remiss if I did not mention to you the Shuafala of the FFS, CSTC's very own, the one, the only, the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, my friend. I'm doing pretty good. For those who didn't see our flagship show for Fantasy's Sake, I have stolen DJ's shoes. I don't have them on me right now, but I am now the official tribal thief to his tribal chief here on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network.
It's your new profile pic, I think, on what would you say your social media platforms. So
on Facebook and Instagram.
Check it out. Pic taken by yours truly. You know, I get a text, or maybe a text or a call. I can't remember if it was from CZ yesterday. Hey, that's a really good pic. I'm like, yeah, I took it. I know I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, but I digress. We took that pic yesterday out at the Milan Fall Festival is going on during Labor Day and out at Camden. I don't know what the name of the show was. It was put on by Atomic Sports. It was like a fall
card show
for all hobbies. They had a ton of Pokemon there yesterday, a little bit of wrestling. I saw all sorts of cards yesterday. Of course, the flagship show of the network. For Fantasy's Sake, kicked off their season yesterday with the NFL kicking off next week. So they were live there yesterday. CZ and I stopped out there not only to support them, but to also look at the cards.
Yes.
So that's where we were. That's where that pick came from. The whole Shuafala thing came from yesterday. So, dude, I feel like I'm a wrestler at an outdoor day show right now. I got both doors open here and the wind's blowing through. So, like, I know what it feels like now to perform on this stage in an audience, with when the lights are on. So yeah, I got that outdoor wrestling vibe today.
It's a good day to have it. It's gorgeous out. I see. I'm looking out the window. I like if we're recording during the day and it's sunny out. I'd rather have the natural light coming in, shining on me than the overhead, and that's what we're doing right now. I've got beautiful blue sky, a few clouds there, and it's been a beautiful weekend. Busy weekend. I was in Waterloo on Saturday for Absolute Pro Wrestling's show. Want to thank Jason Prentice for having me out there and being my co-host on another pre-show podcast party, number 6. We're in talks for doing a number 7, possibly in November, but more on that later. And then yesterday was a big day in the world of wrestling with another overseas show for the WWE. Those are always a lot of fun.
They are. I know a lot of people, stateside really complained when these shows went, these monthly PLEs, which was, of course, this PLE was the last WWE PLE on Peacock, but the NXT shows will still continue. The NXT PLEs will still be available on Peacock. That's where they will stream. But no, I don't mind. I don't mind these overseas shows. I'm not going to go to one of these monthly pay-per-views unless the price is right and it's within a 3-hour radius, 4-hour radius, we'll say.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, I like the afternoon start time. Now, I don't know if I like these daytime pay-per-views during football season. I don't think WWE cares or takes that into account. In fact, most of their programming is counter-programming.
DB, thank you for...
Oh, DB! DB, man. Hey, we're going to see DB. Let's see. We're going to see DB in little over a month, aren't we?
Yeah, October for Dreamwave.
Cannot wait. Hey, have you ever seen a Buried Alive match at a show?
I have not.
Me neither, dude. That's what's got me there. It's a very good card, but for every card, you attach yourself to one match that got you there, and that's the match that's getting me there. So, and Dijak and Hartenbauer are gonna tear the house down. But
yes.
I digress. I wish they would not do the daytime pay-per-views during football season, but whatever. Still fun. I guess I'd rather watch a daytime pay-per-view than a Sunday night 5-hour fest, 4-hour fest. And this show went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to for a 6-match card. 1 o'clock start time for us here locally in the Central Time Zone here in Middle America. I thought by 4:15 they'd be off the air at the most with what they've been doing, but it's an overseas show. They're going to give the crowd a little bit more, and the crowds at the overseas shows are amazing. It is like an event. It is like they call it football over there. It's soccer to me. It's like a soccer match with both sides. Everybody chanting together. I don't know all the chants that they were saying yesterday, but I know the crowd was spirited, and it helps make a show maybe better than what it should be.
And they were hot throughout the whole thing. There was not a dull moment for that crowd. They were just on fire. And that's one of the things I love about those overseas, or not even just overseas. Look at Puerto Rico. The out-of-country shows just are on fire with their crowds, where we have, we're so ingrained with this in our culture, and we get to see shows like these more often than the overseas fans, these bigger shows. The crowds here in America aren't always as hot. And that's not a diss. That's not a diss.
Because, we get it all the time. This audience gets that experience as much as they really want to. Overseas, not as much. So it is kind of, they're getting less of it. So they're going to go all out for it, is what it is. So, but no, that's not a knock. They do a great job. In fact, when I know it's an overseas show, I'm excited because I know the crowd is not going to be a letdown like it is, a lot of other times, with its side of things, with its participation. So, yeah.
The only thing missing, which I'm sure we are getting on Raw at some point. I haven't turned on Raw. I know it's on as we're live right now since they are still overseas, but Nick's favorite chant for AJ Styles, Phenomena.
Yes.
Phenomena.
How could they not put AJ and Dom on this pay-per-view? Maybe because they wanted something big for the Raw the day after. I hope. I've avoided all social media because I'm watching Raw after we possibly go off the air. Got some other homework to do for another show, but we'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
I'm gonna watch it later because I just had other stuff going on, like this show.
I'm the same.
I don't want to know anything that happens, so I'm avoiding social media, I guess, the rest of the day. Truly am taking a day off here, but no, the show 1 o'clock start time here local. I'm fine with that. I loved it. I just figured it'd be over sooner. So it went a little bit longer than I thought it would. So I think some stuff definitely could have got trimmed down.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, not covering for them and not making up for WWE here, they knew they had plenty of time. They didn't have to rush anything.
Absolutely. And I said that this was kind of a bunch of A players and B matches going into the show off air. I'll divulge that. I don't care. Hey, send your hate tweets at the Wizard CZ. I don't care. But as I sit here, I feel like it over delivered in my opinion. Yeah, maybe there were some matches that went a little longer. It could have gone a little shorter. But looking at a show where you've got Roman Reigns, John Cena, all this immense talent in matches that maybe aren't like the top of the WrestleMania card matches, you got to think like Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed is not something you would think would be on a pay-per-view, but it is, and the story behind it is great.
Right, it makes sense for those two, to go at it. So we kind of got. I was excited for that match actually. I know a lot of people probably like, but I mean, for it to start the show, I thought it was the right match to start. You want to give that entrance, that experience of Roman coming out to the crowd. And I loved it. It kind of went the way I thought it was going to go with, Roman was going to win. And if he lost, it was going to be cheap. But he won, but he didn't walk out of there. Bronson, everybody's going to remember Bronson Reed for giving him, I don't know how many tsunamis he gave him. And then, Roman Reigns, getting stretchered out, then walking out, stretchered out, going to the hospital. All that happening was such a big thing to do first, and it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
When you look at how the show ended and you see and know that, okay, well, Paul Heyman's in the hospital for what happened the week before. He's not there. Seth Rollins is in the main event.
And Paul was in the hospital for what happened there.
That's right. What happened there? That's right. You're right. He was there. That's right. He's on his way to the hospital.
Yes.
He's on his way to the hospital. Braun and Bronson both get suspended. The next match is Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns, right? That's going to be the next topic here. But they get thrown out of the ring or out of the building by Adam Pearce. So who's going to be left to aid Rollins? Because Rollins is in a four-way. You got to think, they're going to add new member. They're going to add new member. They're going to add new member. And the answer was there the whole time. But I'm not going to say, I should have known that. I had no idea it was going to be, Becky Lynch coming to the rescue when Seth needed it.
I wasn't expecting it to be Becky. I was expecting, I wasn't expecting anyone in particular, but I definitely was not expecting Becky.
And definitely, that was a surprise. That was a good way to end the show. We'll talk about that main event here in a little bit. But I had no problems with the opener. I really liked the opener and the aftermath after. I think we could have trimmed 10 to 15 minutes of the stuff off after. We could have got everything in and trimmed off 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With that opening stuff. That'd be my only complaint with it. Otherwise, I thought these two guys really worked together. Roman working underneath most of the time with Bronson kind of in control. I think Bronson was showcased here in a high-level PLE match with the number one and number two guy in the company. It says a lot about how they feel, about what they feel about this storyline, but also about how they feel about him. You remember missed this past WrestleMania, was out from shattering his ankle.
Yeah.
At War Games. And to top it all off, is now involved in the hottest heel faction in the WWE, the Vision. So for him to have this match with Roman Reigns to kick off a pay-per-view is huge. I'm sure it was more of a test, a system of measurement, if you will, for Bronson Reed to see if he could be in that moment, and he shined.
He passed with flying colors, in my opinion. And here's what I love about this match is, yeah, he was on top through most of it. He was kicking the shit out of Roman Reigns. Let's face facts. Pardon my French. But Roman made Bronson look like $1,000,000 coming out of this match, and he has star potential written all over him. Maybe not main event star, at least not right away. I can see him getting there eventually. But Roman putting him over the way that he did during the match, even in a losing effort, Bronson's a player. He's going to have big things ahead of him, and I can't wait to see what they are.
I agree with I agree with that Bronson stuff. I think big things are ahead of him. Keep him healthy. You can tell he's putting in some work. He has slimmed down a little bit. He's slimmed down like through the face, shoulders, and chest area. So he's putting the work in. He knows he's highlighted, and he shined here. So I liked the opening match a lot. The second match was our WWE Tag Team Championship match. Good to see a tag team title match on a pay-per-view that's not involving a main storyline like the Bloodline or Cody and a friend going after the belts. It's nice to see two tag teams out there battling for it. We have the current champs of the Wyatt Six, which would be Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, and they were defending against Street Profits. Montez Ford and
Angelo Dawkins. Can we
why is it and I'm going to be nice today. It's Labor Day, and I really don't want to just tear down this match. But why is it now? How long has it been going on for you? Because it's been going on a long time for me. How long is it now? Like every time the Street Profits come out, or every time the Street Profits are backstage, you think they're going to break up. Because Montez Ford is, I hate to say this because it's not true, because Angelo Dawkins is really good in the ring, and I think he's a really good wrestler. But Montez Ford is Shawn Michaels of this group. And Angelo Dawkins is 10 times better than Marty Jannetty, because everybody knows, it's been teased, Montez Ford is going to be this big star. It makes sense. It makes sense. They've kind of hinted at it. It's been talked about. So every time the Street Profits come out, I think it's their last match, or I think, oh, this is where it's going to go down. This is where the betrayal is going to begin, type of deal. But I don't know. It's been happening a while for me. I don't know. Am I wrong in feeling that? Do you ever feel that way? You see what I'm coming from?
Yeah. They've been teasing this for a while, and honestly, if they're going to pull the trigger, they need to do it soon, because people are not going to give a crap here before too long. And what really bugs me about that, I don't want to see them break up. They're a fantastic tag team. But at the same time, I want both of them to have their moment to shine on their own. And I'll take a moment to just give all the credit in the world to Montez Ford. He is athletic. He's got that it factor. He's going to be huge when he does go off on his own. And I think he's the better off going heel and turning on Angelo. But at the beginning of the match, they teased this breakup for like a cup of coffee, for a hiccup. There, I believe it was Montez who was on the corner, who slapped himself into the ring. A very aggressive tag in from Angelo Dawkins, who wasn't expecting it. And that was it. That was the only moment in the match where they were teasing this breakup, and now everything is just fine throughout. And I don't like that. If you're going to tease it, pull the damn trigger.
Well, you don't like it because that's not how you want it.
That's fair. I mean,
I know. it just seems like it should have happened by now. But we said the same thing with the New Day. I felt the New Day was.
I was just gonna say that. You're in my head.
I feel like I hope they don't go the same route as the New Day, where they took forever to do it, and by the time it happened, although the New Day stuff with them as heels has been good, it's kind of like got less heat on it because I don't think as many people care because it took so long to get there.
Right. The Xavier and Kofi were at each other's throats for months on end before the heel turn finally came, and it was unique in the fact that they didn't turn on each other; they turned on Big E. So they're both heels and they're both dastardly, but that's not where the Street Profits are going to go. They don't have a third person to have as that foil. But if you keep dragging out and prolonging the potential turn, nobody's going to care. And it's going to lessen both of them as single stars because they're going to get to that point where you should have done this months ago. Why? Why are you doing it now?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, I can't say any more about the possible breakup of them. Of course, Gacy and Loomis retain for the Wyatt Six. Of course, there was shenanigans the outside with the remaining members of the Wyatt Six all getting involved in a way.
Aren't the Wyatt Six faces? Aren't they good guys?
That's the first thing I said when they're doing this stuff. I'm like, aren't they the faces? So why?
I mean, the Street Profits are kind of face too, but this kind of felt like a tweener tag team match. Like, you know, neither one was really face, neither one was really heel, but the Wyatt Six definitely had some heel tactics at the end that I didn't think fit.
They retain, and you know, I got to feel they're going to hold these belts for a while, and a lot of it has to do with, you know, the publicity in the press of what they're going to get when they open I think it's Universal Studios, isn't it? The Halloween Horror Nights. I think that's what's going down, where they have a thing for the Firefly Funhouse. So like it's Bray Wyatt's dream coming to light type of deal. So I know that's going to be going on this fall. I expect the Wyatt Six, of course, to probably have those belts. So when they show up for photo ops at this thing, they're going to be the champion type of deal. But I digress. It was an okay match. I was happy with just seeing tag team wrestling on the main card on a PLE that wasn't four singles guys going off in a main event just to set up the angle down the road. Right. So I was happy with seeing that.
Those tag titles need to be defended on PLEs way more often, both respects.
Agreed.
I'm just going to lead into the next match by saying, can we switch this out for Dom and AJ? I know why this match is here, and it's not because the match needed to be on the pay-per-view. It's because Becky needed to be there for the end of the show. We'll get to that later. But if it were me, this match should have been on Raw today instead of on the pay-per-view yesterday. I'm just saying. I think Dom and AJ have more heat and more going into it. And I think you could have ended the night still as you did without Becky having her match early on.
Yeah, it's the Intercontinental title. So it's the first time, you know, it's probably been defended there in France. I think this match was a first-time matchup with Becky.
I believe you're correct.
No,
I mean, you are never wrong.
No,
Jamais tort.
Jamais tort.
Jamais tort.
Jamais tort. Jamais tort. Jamais tort. Jamais tort.
I don't have a problem with the match itself. It wasn't a terrible match, but
it's just my feeling was this. I knew Becky was going to retain. She wasn't going to lose. And I don't care that Nikki Bella's back. You know who's on this roster? You know, Julia. She won the U.S. title, the women's U.S. title.
Yeah.
Right? 8 weeks ago, and has been on TV once since. Like, what's going on? Like, I understand they want to give them a big match. It's a first-time match, so I'm fine but I think that's exactly why Dom and AJ is today or going on right now or already happened as we record this, is because they wanted that for the crowd. And that's actually, I am looking forward to that match just to hear the crowd and see if they pull the trigger and get the belt off Dom. But
I'll give you the other reason why this match was on this show. Naomi got pregnant and had to vacate her title. That was supposed to be defended against Stephanie Vaquer on this show.
So here's why Becky and Nikki Bella was on this show. Because tonight we're giving a new WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion. Correct? That'll probably be the main.
I would hope so. That makes
sense to me. Why would they have two women's matches? Why would they have two women's matches going on when they want to center around that one?
And I don't disagree with that.
I don't either. But yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a historical night because we're getting a new champion. Not through a tournament, nothing. It's just me a one-off match. And I wonder if they start off. I don't know how they're going to name the person, but I'm looking forward to that from Raw as well. So I was thinking about that when Raw was going on. It's like, man, I wish they could have had that match. No, they don't, because it was supposed to be. It was the first match that was ever on this card. Was Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer, and then Naomi announced that she was pregnant, and whoop, that was immediately scrap that, and they had to do something else.
Which congratulations to her and Big Jim. That's amazing, but. Storyline wise, you're not going to put Naomi in a match when she's pregnant. That's dangerous.
Yeah, knowingly,
yes.
Right.
But that.
So I figured Becky would retain. When it happened, I was like, whoa, okay. Like it wasn't just your standard roll up. It was like a backslide. And it stuck it, and it didn't cheat, no tights, no nothing. So, I was fine with this ending. As much as I didn't want the match on the card, I was fine with how the ending was. And it was kind of, I didn't really, wasn't upset with it because I knew that was kind of how it was going to shake out.
This is a match that I would have trimmed a little off of. This went 13 minutes and 7 seconds. So. Little long for my taste, particularly for a match that neither one of us really wanted on the show. They could have told their story in a little shorter of a time, but it is what it is.
Right.
But they followed it up with this is intentional, with a banger of a match between Sheamus and Rusev. I'm not you and I, we talk about plunder matches and how WWE does way too many. This one is kind of, I feel, necessary. It's a silly match type. It's a good old fashioned Donnybrook. And that's just, to me, just screams absolute silliness, but definitely was not. It was hard hitting. I remember we were watching this and you asked me, is that an Irish bar at ringside? I'm like, yes, it is. I hope somebody goes through that. And sure enough, Sheamus got slammed through it, like he was getting slammed into a casket.
Yes, there's been a lot of plunder matches lately. There's been a lot of no DQs, and I don't like when you have a lot of no DQ matches on the card. But this one, I think everybody could put that aside for knowing that there's two Haas's going in there and just legitimately working hard, landing in stiff, and just kicking the shit out of each other. And everybody loved it. I don't think anybody cared. I don't think the crowd cared who won. They just didn't want to.
I didn't care who won. I just wanted to see these two beat the crap out of each other.
It's a Donnybrook. Kind of tongue-in-cheek. The bar got destroyed at ringside. You had the wooden cast barrels for the whiskey that had to be like, I don't know, 8 feet in the air. They were doing stuff on that. Yeah.
And the fact that someone got put through 2 Slim Jim tables.
it's gotten to a point where you just don't want. And I was worried when Roman and Bronson went outside the ring in that first match, and I'm like, we got a Donnybrook later. I hope we don't copy and see a lot of different stuff. I think for the most part, they did as little as they could from copying each other. But yeah, I'd like to get away. And these guys have been feuding for a while, so it built to this. But I'd like to get away from the no DQ style stuff and back to wrestling, back to in-ring stuff. And I know it's entertainment and whatnot, but back to, some standard
Can
matches.
we get, and I don't think WWE will bring this back. I know AEW has a couple times, but can we get like a 30-minute Iron Man match at a pay-per-view? I would love that. Pure wrestling.
See, since AEW does 30, they're going to do 60.
Well, yeah. But I would love to see just a pure wrestling match where in an Iron Man environment. It's something that we haven't seen for a long time in the WWE. I don't know who I'd put in that position off the top of my head, but sign me up. Make it happen. It gets us away from these no DQ matches and still gets us a stipulation that is good. Right.
Now's as good a time as any to thank our sponsors once again. Tell us who you tell you guys who we are. We are Card Subject to Change Podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. I am never wrong. And Nick Bull today. I am Jamais Torque. Nick Bull. He is the Wizard CZ. We are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. Of course, we are on the For Frequency's Sake Network. Glad to be here, breaking down, of course, Clash in Paris from yesterday as we record here on Labor Day afternoon. A couple more matches on the card. I believe it was, of course, the main event 4-way, which we'll talk about last. What is next?
That would be Logan Paul and John Cena.
Of course.
And, I talked about Roman putting over Bronson Reed. Cena did a hell of a job doing the same thing for Logan Paul in a completely different manner. Not that Logan Paul needed it, because every match he's been in has been decent, if not better. He does a good job. And, he's not, people call him a part-timer as part of the story. I don't know that fits anymore. Sure, he doesn't have a lot of matches, but he's one of those attractions. He's not someone who needs to be on every show every time having a match, because he's an attraction that brings eyes to the product.
Yeah. I'm fine with him in the ring because he seems to care and it shows in his matches. You don't have to like the person. He's playing a character, ladies and gentlemen. He's playing a character. He's got a lot of money and self-made man, all that on YouTube and whatnot. I don't know how he is personally. I can't speak to it because I've never met him or how he treated me. But man, if he is evoking emotion, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. I mean, he's the guy you have to hate. He's the guy you want to hate because we're average Joes. We're out here busting our ass every day to make ends meet, pay bills, and have a little extra spending cash to go to wrestling shows.
He is.
Okay, and Logan Paul just makes it by just being goofy.
Being
online.
smarmy. He's a guy that we want to punch in the face, and we're happy when someone else is punching him in the face for us.
I mean, people are like, I don't want to see his matches. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to see his matches? What would you rather see out there? Because I'm telling you, when he's on a show, I know like something big's going to go down. And of course, it's the John Cena retirement tour. And of course, with those two have been a part of matches together, but never the whole one-on-one thing. So I'm glad it happened. At one point, we're going to look at this 15 years from now and be like, Logan Paul wrestled John Cena. It's like, it was what I thought it was going to be. In no way, shape, or form did I think Cena was going to lose. Right. But Logan Paul definitely shined in a losing effort.
And can we just take a moment to give kudos for Cena, who pulled out some things you don't see from him very often. It's one thing I've never seen from John Cena, and that's a freaking Hurricane Rana.
A Hurricane Rana, a Styles Clash,
a Code Red.
A Code Red.
But he's done that before. That's part of his repertoire that he brings out on occasion. But
right. But yeah, seeing him do and he did the Styles Clash pretty good. So that was a cool nod to AJ. Yeah. I was fine with it. I was totally fine with that match. It was what I expected. I didn't expect anything more than what that match was. But those two went out there and did a great job. It's an homage to both of them. Cena, better days behind him, still in good shape and wrestling this part-time schedule, is able to go out there with Logan Paul, who just bleeds athleticism, oozes it, and you think it's going to be a slow match.
Right.
It wasn't. It was a really good match. Yeah,
very well done. A little long. This was the longest match on the card, so another place that could have trimmed a little bit of fat, but I wasn't upset with the it didn't feel like it was a long match. They did such a good job telling the story and pacing the match. It didn't feel like it went 26 minutes.
Right.
I mean, and that brings us to the main event of the evening. Fatal 4-way for Seth Rollins championship. And obviously, talked about it earlier, Rollins is going in here not only with the disadvantage of it being a fatal 4-way, that almost always favors any one of the challengers, because Rollins has a 25% chance of retaining. But now his muscle is gone. His oracle is gone. His muscle is gone. He's by himself. But being the visionary that he is, he's always got a plan.
Where does a good man turn when he really needs help?
To the good woman who's backing him.
That's right. And I thought it was beautifully done. On how it went down. I didn't expect a Dave Meltzer 5-star classic out of this match. I expected these four can work well together, to build to that go home moment for the match. And I thought these guys are all big name stars that sell a lot of merch. All four of these guys. So four of the biggest names in a fatal 4-way, all the cards are stacked against, Seth Rollins. His muscle's not there. His eyes aren't there. But when the chips are down, the champion does it again and does it to his hated rival again. And here we have Becky Lynch low blowing Punk, hitting him in the south side, if you know what I mean, Daddy-O, and dropping him, taunting him as he's in pain and gets stomped for the win. I thought it was beautiful, the ending. I didn't figure Rollins was going to drop it here. It just wasn't going to happen here. Not on this show. CZ alluded to it earlier. In A talent on a B show. And it's not a knock. It's just what it was. Look at the names on the show. Cena, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Jey Uso, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. Boom. 8 of the biggest names in the company were on the show. So A talent on a B show. Nothing wrong with that. And the main event did what it had to do. It furthers this storyline. And now there's rumors around floating out there that AJ Lee's going to come back. And we're going to get the Seth and Becky against AJ and Punk.
I'll be honest, this is something the internet wrestling community has wanted for a while, to see AJ Lee come back. We thought it was going to be earlier in the year. And then when it didn't happen, it was like, well, maybe she's not going to come back. This is the moment to pull the trigger. If she's coming back right now. And I think the odds are better that she is than she isn't. even if it's just for a one-off storyline.
It might, yeah, for a one-off. Who knows? And then I get to thinking here, this was the last PLE on Peacock. WrestlePalooza will be the first PLE on ESPN, and I guarantee they're going to treat that like a WrestleMania. So we essentially got like 3 WrestleManias this year, with not only the 2 nights, but the Netflix debut they treated like a WrestleMania with who they had on there and the moment and the matches. You've got to think it's all hands on deck here for this big opening show on ESPN, which is coming up here as we look at it end of the month. Is it the 27th?
20th,
CZ?
earlier than that.
20th, sorry. So 20th. So just a few weeks away. So guessing on that Raw that was recorded earlier today or is still going on. Heck, I don't know if they're still going on or not.
I think it started at 1, so I would say it's probably still got another 40 minutes left in it.
Guessing a match or 2 is getting announced for that show on there. And, of course, we're going to get a new women's champion. So a lot happening in the wrestling world. My question for you is this, CZ. What's next for Jey Uso or an LA? What's next for LA?
Oh, man. I hate that you asked me that question because I want there to be something big.
Oh,
I really do. But
I want you to answer it because
where does he go? You mentioned Jey Uso. Where does he go? If it were me, if I had the book, LA Knight would be turning heel as fast as possible. Like, they've teased it a little bit with his antics. Pull the trigger. Hell, pull the trigger and have him go against Jay for a while. Put those 2 in a program. But face LA Knight is not working. He's not getting the recognition that he should. Give him a chance to shine where he shines best, in my opinion, and that is with being a bad guy.
And you're going to keep him on SmackDown?
That's tough. That's very tough because SmackDown has a lot of good, but both shows have a lot of great talent.
Or he's on Raw right now. Are you going to put him on SmackDown?
I don't know that I would. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a program with him and Jay coming out of this match. I think they'd do well together. Ultimately, we've got can we bring back the dummy from his Eli Drake days? I'm sure they won't, but love to see it. I mean, I can think of multitudes of reasons for him to reference a number of people as a dummy. Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah, I know we've asked this on here, and I don't know the answer. I don't see the path for him. I don't know what it is. So hopefully something gets going for him. Honestly, I don't know what it is.
Let me spin this for you. He's held the U.S. Championship, correct?
Yes.
Coming out of Raw.
Yeah.
Coming out of Raw, we have AJ walk away with the Intercontinental Championship. We have a heel LA Knight go after AJ Styles for the Intercontinental. Those would be some, pun intended, phenomenal matches.
I'm fine with it.
I can't see where else to put him.
I don't either. I think you have to turn him. I don't know if you can keep him this way and make him and still keep him relative and strong. I don't know. It's one of the biggest question marks for me of 2025, and nobody's perfect, but I don't know what they're doing with him. I just don't. But not to dwell on the negative here. It is Labor Day weekend, and we're so happy that you have joined us. You have found us. If you have any comments, thoughts on the show, hit us up on socials. Thoughts on Clash in Paris or anything else we spoke about or is coming up. At CZ, we got some stuff to cover here.
We do. I'll talk about the big conglomeration first, and then we'll get into our shows of what's coming up here the next day, the next week. We had our podcasts collide at Heroes for Hudson a little over a week ago now. We are back together with 2 Count Shotgun Wrestling Radio this Saturday. That will not be on our platforms, but we'll be at Bridge City Slam 7 doing a pre-show with those boys again. I'm excited for another collaboration there. Details to come, but pay attention to the 2 Count page because they're going to have more details on their end. Because it's Big Ace who's putting this together for us on this time. But for us, we got a new show debuting, Nick.
We do. Oh, we do.
We're doing a pre-record this week. Well, I'm not going to pull punches here. We are going in the studio in a couple of hours with our good friend Joe the Show Winkle for Wrestlebacks. Rewatchable, must-see matches. That's gonna hit the airwaves tomorrow at 7 Central Time, and the premise of the show, we're looking back at matches that we think everybody should rewatch at some point. This was we let Joe pick the first one since this is his baby. We're gonna let him roll with that, and we are talking about WrestleMania 39 between Roman and Cody. When Cody's first attempt to finish the story, Roman going in as 944 days as the world champion going into that match. I'm excited to talk about that. It'll be a lot of fun.
I am too.
I don't want to speak for you, Nick. I think this is going to be a great show. It's going to be a monthly effort, first Tuesday of every month, starting tomorrow. What are you looking forward to most on this new venture?
I mean, so many times we just watch a show and we're just going match by match by match by match. Now we're dissecting a match. The story up to that match, the match itself, the impact the match had. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We're dialed in. We're laser focused on just this match itself.
I agree. This is going to be a fun chance to just look at one. To zoom the lens in on one particular aspect of a great show. And WrestleMania 39 was a great show. Lots of fantastic matches. This just happens to be the one that we pulled out of the hat to review, and I'm excited. It'll be really good. But for us on Sunday, we're back at our normal time again. I'm really excited. This is someone that you've known for a while. I've had my eye on for a little bit, and we've wanted to have in the studio for quite some time. Nick, tell us a little bit about James Jeffries.
Yeah, James Jeffries, I would say, an Iowa wrestling legend, based out of the Waterloo area. I've watched James wrestle for quite a few years now, and he's always got quite a following. Always good in-ring worker, and he's a great, incredible person. Hung out with him a little bit at the Waterloo Hall of Fame weekend, which James is a big part of, not only as a wrestler itself, but he's hanging out with everybody else and talking wrestling and stuff. So he's a great guy. I can't wait to hear his story, get him in the studio. Of course, ask him what he's watching, why professional wrestling, and why he loves wrestling. I can't wait to get him.
And of course, show title Making an Impact, because he's been such a big part of Impact Pro Wrestling here in the Iowa area, as well as many other promotions. I'm excited. This will be a great interview. I can't wait. Any final thoughts before we wrap up the show today, Nick?
What's your letter grade?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I would say a solid B.
Okay, I'm gonna go like C plus, B minus, right on the edge there, because man, they could have trimmed some time off in this show. This thing could have been over a little bit sooner, but it did not. It didn't disappoint. It's just some stuff they need to clean up. So I'll be minus.
That's fair. I can agree. I can see your point there. But no, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Card Subject to Change. Thank you for sticking with us with our time change this week as we celebrate Labor Day, have the day off. We figured, I know Nick had an obligation he was required to be at last night. So that's why we couldn't go yesterday at our normal time. But we'll be back at normal time next Sunday. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Wrestlebacks at 7 o'clock. For my tag team partner, Jamais Tort Nick Bull, I am the Wizard CZ. This has been another edition of Card Subject to Change, podcast by the fan for the fan, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. We will see you next week here for another exciting episode.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.